Welcome to this YouTube channel. In this video we are going to talk about 10 facts to know about Shah Ismail I. So before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates. From 1501 to 1524, Ismail I, commonly known as Shah Ismail, was the founder of the Safavid dynasty of Iran, ruled as its king of kings, Shah. Ismail's reign is one of Iran's most important in history. Prior to his ascension in 1501, Iran had not existed as a cohesive kingdom under native Iranian sovereignty since its conquest by the Arabs 8.5 centuries earlier, but had been ruled by a succession of Arab caliphs, Turkic sultans, and Mongol khans. Despite the fact that numerous Iranian dynasties rose to prominence during this time, it was only under the Buyid dynasty that a large portion of Iran was returned to Iranian authority, 945 to 1055. Here are the 10 facts about Shah Ismail I. Number 10. Ismail I founded a dynasty that would rule for over 2 centuries, becoming one of the most powerful empires of its time, ruling all of modern-day Iran, Azerbaijan Republic, Armenia, most of Georgia, the North Caucasus, Iraq, Kuwait, and Afghanistan, as well as parts of modern-day Syria, Turkey, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan. In significant regions of Greater Iran, it also reasserted the Iranian identity. The resurgence of Iran as an economic stronghold between East and West, the construction of an efficient state and bureaucracy, architectural advancements, and sponsorship of fine arts were all part of the Safavid Empire's legacy. Number 9. One of his first acts was the proclamation of Shia Islam's Twelver sect as the official religion of his newly founded state, which had enormous ramifications for Iran's subsequent history. Furthermore, dividing the growing Safavid state from its powerful Sunni neighbors the Ottoman Empire to the west, and the Uzbek Confederation to the east provided him with political benefits. However, it injected the implied inevitability of a subsequent struggle between the Shah, who envisioned a secular state, and the religious leaders, who considered all secular states as illegal and whose sole desire was to establish a theocratic state. Ismail was also a renowned poet who contributed significantly to the literary development of the Turkic language under the pen name Kata, the Incorrect. He also contributed to Parsi and Giliki literature. On July 17, 1487, in Ardabil, Ismail was born to Martha and Haidar. Haidar, his father, was the sheikh of the Safavid Tariqa, Sufi order, and a direct descendant of Safi ad-Din Ardabili, 1252 to 1334. Prior to his ascension to a governing dynasty, Ismail was the last of this line of hereditary Grand Masters of the order. Number 8. Ismail was the great-great-grandson of King Alexander I of Georgia and Emperor Alexios IV of Trebizond. Martha was the daughter of Uzun Hasan, the Turkoman, Ag Koyunlu dynasty's monarch, and his Pontic Greek wife, Theodora Megail Komnene, also known as Despina Khatun. Emperor John IV of Trebizond had a daughter named Despina Khatun. In an agreement to protect the empire of Trebizond from the Ottoman Turks, she married Uzun Hasan. Ismail was raised speaking Giliki, Parsi and Turkish. His ancestors came from a variety of ethnic groups, including Giliks, Georgians, Greeks, Kurds, and Turkomans, but most historians conclude that his empire was Iranian. Number 7. In 1301, 200 years before Ismail became Shah Ismail I, Safi al-Din succeeded his spiritual mentor and father-in-law, Zahid Gilani, as head of the Zahidiyya, a famous Sufi order in Gilan. The Safavids were the name given to the order later on. According to one genealogy, Sheikh Safi, the order's founder and Ismail's ancestor, was a direct descendant of Ali. Ismail also declared himself to be the Mahdi, the reincarnation of 12th Imam, the hidden Imam. In a fight in Tabasaran in 1488, when Ismail was only 1 year old, Ismail's father was killed by the soldiers of the Shirvanshah, Farak Yasser, and his overlord, the Ag Koyunlu, a Turkic tribal union that governed most of Iran. In 1494, the Ag Koyunlu seized Ardabil, killing Ali Mirza Safavi, Haidar's eldest son, and forcing Ismail, then 7 years old, to flee to Gilan, where he was educated by intellectuals under Sultan Ali Mirza Karkiya. Number 6. Ismail emerged from concealment at the age of 12 and returned to what is now Azerbaijan, a province of Iran, with his followers. The Turkmen tribes also helped Ismail rise to power. Ismail gathered 7,000 troops in Erzincan in the summer of 1500 when he was 23 years old. In December 1500, his soldiers crossed the Kara River and marched towards Shirvanshah's territory. They defeated the Shirvanshah's Farik Yasser's army around Choban, Shamaki Rayon, Gulistan, Iran, and then conquered Baku. Ismail now controlled Shayravan and its dependencies, up to southern Dagestan in the north. The Shirvanshah line continued to rule Shayravan under Safavid suzerainty for a few more years, until 1538, when it was handed over to a Safavid governor during the reign of Ismail's son, Shah Tahmasp I, 1524 to 1576. Ismail had Alexander I of Kakheti send his son Demetre to Shayravan to negotiate a peace treaty after the conquest. Number 5. The effective conquest had alarmed the king of the Agkoyanlu, Alvand, who marched north from Tabriz and crossed the Aras River to fight the Safavid forces, and a pitched battle was fought at Karur, in which Ismail's army triumphed despite being outmanned 4-1. Ismail had ordered the Georgian monarchs Constantine II and Alexander I of the kingdoms of Kartli and Kakheti, respectively, assault the Ottoman possessions around Tabriz on the promise that if Tabriz was won, he would refund the tribute Constantine was required to pay to the Agkoyanlu. Ismail betrayed his commitment to Constantine II by making both the kingdoms of Kartli and Kakheti his vassals after eventually conquering Tabriz and Nakhchivan. Number 4. At the age of 24, Ismail was enthroned as Shah of Iran in July 1501, and Tabriz was chosen as his capital. Hossein Shamlu, his previous guardian and mentor, was named as the empire's vakil, vicegerent, and the army's commander-in-chief, Amir al-Amara. His army was made up of tribal groupings. He also named Amir Zakaria, a former Iranian vizier of the Agkoyanlu, as his minister. Ismail declared 12 Shurism to be Iran's official and compulsory religion after assuming the title of Shah. He used the sword to enforce this new standard, similar to what Taliban do in Afghanistan in recent years, dissolving Sunni brotherhoods and executing anyone who refused to accept the new Shurism. Number 3. Ghassan Bek Hayati Tabrizi, 961 to 1554, an early Safavid poet and bureaucrat, claims to have heard from several witnesses that Shah Ismail was enthroned in Tabriz shortly after the Battle of Sharar on December 22, 1501, making Hayat's book Tariq, the History, 1554, the only known narrative source to give the exact date of Shah Ismail's ascent to the throne. In 1502, Ismail, then 25 years old, was given the title of Shah of Iran after defeating an Agkoyanlu army. In the same year, he conquered Erzincan and Erzurum, and a year later, in 1503, he conquered Iraq and Fars. A year later, in 1504, he conquered Mazandaran, Gorgan, and Yazd. He captured Diyarbakir in 1507. Ismail appointed the Iranian Emir Najm al-Din Masoud Gilani as the new vakil in the same year. This was because Ismail had begun to favor the Iranians over the Turks, who, despite having played a key role in Ismail's battles, had amassed too much authority and were no longer trusted. Ismail compelled the rulers of Khuzestan, Lorestan, and Kurdistan to become his vassals a year later. Ismail and Hossein Shamlu took Baghdad in the same year, bringing an end to the Agkoyanlu. Ismail then started destroying Sunni sites in Baghdad, such as the tombs of the Abbasid caliphs, and Imam Abu Hanifa and Abdul Qadir Gilani. Number 2. He had conquered all of Iran, including Shayravan, southern Dagestan, containing the key city of Darband, Mesopotamia, Armenia, Khorasan, and eastern Anatolia by 1510, as well as the Georgian kingdoms of Kartli and Kakheti. In the same year, Hossein Shamlu was deposed as commander-in-chief in favor of Muhammad Ustajlo, a man from humble beginnings. Due to the death of Masoud Gilani, Ismail also named Najmi Sani as the next vakil of the empire. Number 1. Ismail I made a counter-offensive against the Uzbeks. In a fight near Merv, 17,000 Kizilbash warriors ambushed and beat a 28,000-strong Uzbek force. Muhammad Shaybani, the Uzbek monarch, was apprehended and slain while attempting to flee the battle, and Shah Ismail had his skull turned into a jeweled drinking goblet. After Najmi Sani was killed in a skirmish with the Uzbeks in 1512, Ismail appointed Abdul Baqi Yazdi as the empire's new vakil. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.